Okay, in this lesson we're going to go ahead and take the hand that we modeled in 3ds Max and we're going to add a bone system to it. We're going to animate the bones and then we're going to apply a modifier to the hand itself that tells it to be skin for the bones. So ultimately we will not be animating the hand, we'll be animating the bones, which inadvertently will be forming the hand like skin. So to begin, I have my hand, and I'm going to go ahead up to my top view, and I'm going to go ahead and wireframe that out for now so that I can see, because I'm going to put bones inside these hands. Now it's important, when we're talking about bones, we have to design a bone as real as we can. Now I'm also going to go ahead and turn off my viewport background here. And notice that I've created knuckles, and each knuckle represents an area where there's a joint. And when we create bones, we have to define the joints by clicks, and then it'll form the bone in between. Go to Create, Systems, and we're going to see the word Bones. Select the word Bones. And I'm going to start with we'll start with the pointy finger. I'm going to come down to the knuckle, and I'm going to click right in the middle of the knuckle. And then I'm going to simply come over to the next knuckle, click again, come to the next knuckle, click again, come to the edge of the finger, click, and then right click. And that stops my bone system. Now you're going to get this little diamond on the end, and that's fine. That's going to be used as a controller, which will allow us to use inverse kinematics to adjust our finger. But try when you line up your bones, one, make sure each joint is lined up at the knuckle, but two, the bone is somewhat centered in the hand. Now using kinematics and the link, the bone system automatically has the link involved. So by moving the parent, you'll notice that the other two bones follow. But I can go in and adjust this bone, maybe rotate it a little bit or whatnot, and it's only going to affect the bones that follow. Now I'm in I'm going to try to line it up there as best I can. Get it close. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now the other thing you're going to notice about the bones is that the bones are very thin compared to my hand. And if I was to go and drop these bones in there, when I go to animate this thing, the skin will not acknowledge such small bones. So our goal is to adjust the bone so that it actually fits inside the fingers. I'm going to go back in, and before I do that, I am going to go into my left view, and notice my bone is sitting at the bottom of the hand. It should be in the middle of the finger. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up there a while. Now, to adjust a bone, select the actual bone and go to Modify. Under Modify, you have two options. The first option is to actually go in and change the size of the bone. Now, because we're in the top view, we're only going to see one of these changes occur. The width is what we're looking into. It's sort of the depth. If I change that to, say, 10, you don't see much of a change. But when you look in the left view, the bone has gotten thicker. So I can also go in, maybe adjust that to 20. And notice how it's starting to fill the hand. So that's important. We want it as close to the size of the hand as possible, maybe a little smaller inside that finger. Now I can also go and adjust the width or the height. And that too is going to be, let's say 21. Notice how the bone got wider in the top view. And I might go a little wider, just to fill inside the finger. Now bones are not geometry. They are invisible helpers, which means we can see them now, but when we render, they will not show up. So if a bone slightly protrudes out of the hand, don't worry about that. That will be, we can easily fix that. Now, it's hard for us to see in this perspective view how the bone's working, so I'm going to select on my, my hand. I'm going to go back into the object properties, and I'm going to turn on the see-through command. Once I have see-through selected and I hit OK, I can still see the geometry, but now I can see the bone inside there, and I can say, all right, I am protruding a little much, so I can simply go in and cut that down a hair. Maybe adjust the actual bone size, and I actually don't have the right bone selected there. Okay, By bringing that down, you'll see that it tapers off a little bit and gets a little smaller. And that's fine. Now, the second method of adjusting a bone to fit inside the finger is not by adjusting its bone size, but by adding fins. And fins are virtually the same concept, but instead of making the bone larger, in fact, I think it's more of a visual preference. But as we hit the side, you'll notice that the top and the bottom, which is actually not the side in this view, but the top and the bottom grows these fins, which we want to make line up. And then we can also do the front fin, which I'm going to say about 10, maybe even 11, or even 12. And then we can drag the other fin over there and do the same as we did before. Okay? Now at this point we start to realize that our bone is not perfectly centered, so we may want to adjust it a bit, rotate it just a hair, and get it lined up so that it actually fits. So that is the first part of our hand. We're going to go ahead and we're going to draw and create bone system for each of the forefingers and the thumb. Now keep in mind the thumb will be a little different down here, so just kind of start here and work your way up. Go in, create your bones, line them up in both your top view and your left view, and then use the fin technique or the size technique to make the bone the size of the finger. Now, do not clone the bone system. It will not work. It may physically look right, but when you go to animate, you're going to get distortion. You have to recreate a new bone system for each bone. All right. So in our next lesson, we'll come back and I will show you how to take and add more bones into the hand and to link all of the fingers together.